Greetings and welcome to another exciting episode of the Why I Love Disney podcast. I'm Dustin. I'm in an airport heading to Rome, Italy, actually Tirana, Albania right now. But we do not stop for you guys because we like to talk about why we love Disney. And I'm here with my friends Easton and David, who are not with me on this trip, unfortunately. But nonetheless, it's great to see you guys.
Hey, Dustin. Hey, Easton.
Hey, happy to be here.
Easton had a big birthday yesterday.
Happy birthday to Easton.
True.
You're still the youngest guy here,
That's
but you're
true.
catching us quickly.
Yeah, I'm catching up. I'm trying to get there.
Well, that's awesome. Congratulations and happy birthday to you, Easton. Did you do any fun Disney-related things for your birthday?
Not Disney related, but I did have a fun birthday.
Glad to hear that. Glad to hear that for sure. Well, what's happened since the last time we met together was I actually saw Inside Out 2. We left our last episode with me on my way to the theater, and I saw Inside Out 2, and I would love to talk for a minute about Inside Out 2. Would y'all care to do that for a few?
Let's do it.
We should. It just reached the $1 billion mark.
I think, and I saw one of the fastest movies ever to do that as well, animated as well, which is really impressive.
Yeah, they're looking at whether it will pass Barbie.
You know, what do you think? You think it will or won't?
I don't know. I think I guess it comes down to what it does. The Minions Despicable Me is coming out, so it's going to depend on how that I guess affects it and if it just keeps its rate up. But it's amazing that people are flooding in to see this, and it's I want to hear what you had to say, and but review wise, I think most people are saying it's good. That they don't think it's as good as maybe some of the non-sequel movies, but people are flooding in, and it's like, are people just so hungry for something that they're flooding in, or is it that great? Well, I can't wait to hear what you've got to say.
So actually, I think y'all's assessment, y'all prepped me just right. I agree with y'all completely. I actually feel like, is it the greatest Pixar movie ever made? No, it's not that. Is it as good as the first Inside Out? I don't even quite think that. But is it really great? Yes. It's so good. Man, I loved it every bit. From start to finish, it was funny. I laughed. I kind of teared up a little bit. I actually love the message. I love the choices that they made artistically to kind of bring in anxiety and boredom and other these things that you get in adolescence. And I actually thought it was very well done. I think all four of my boys loved it. The fact that it was a girl at hockey camp, I think they navigated that really well. They took Riley, they brought her to a sports camp, which, makes it a little more universal. The issues she deals with it, some are uniquely female, but not completely, right? I think any preteen or adolescent could relate to the stuff she's going through. And I thought they took a lot of care and pain to make it very universal. And I really appreciated that. And I thought it was fantastic. I absolutely loved it. And I've recommended it to everyone who has been like, should we see it or not? I'm like, yes, you definitely should.
Well, I think that's good. I think that's what I felt like. I thought it was very good, and I think it comes down to how you rate things too. When I think of that movie, I think I said last week a 7 or 8, which to me that's a good movie. Like a 10 would be a perfect movie.
Right.
And a 7 or 8 that's a solid, very good movie. It might not be my favorite, but it's up there. And I mean, there are a lot of movies that I think are 5 or 6, but that doesn't mean they're bad. That means, hey,
right.
It's just it was a good movie. I would watch it again. I mean, it has to drop below 5 before I'll think, oh man, I won't watch that, or I've wasted my time. And so to get up in that area, I think is really good.
Well, I think too, like the Inside Out now it's a franchise. I don't think it's a little more under the radar. I think because of its subject matter and even characters, right? I don't think it's a Toy Story brand, right? It's not an Incredibles brand. It's not a Cars brand. It's a different thing. And I think when you approach it like that, it makes it, to me, it gives it a few bonus points.
Well,
does that make sense?
It just reached the $1 billion mark. It will be a brand. There will be something. It won't matter.
Do those characters though, like, speak to you universally? Like, can you see, like, I can't see my kids like getting a joy doll or a Anger doll, or even a Riley doll. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Well, I do think that was one thing about the Toy Story franchise, because they brought in Jesse and then they made the Bo Peep character bigger in the story. You had a mix of just different things for boys and girls in that, but I still think that those emotions. There's long been rumors that they're going to incorporate them into Figment's imagination
that could
pavilion.
be
Like
cool.
they could be in your mind, or some other attraction like that where it's about the emotions. I mean, they used to have a whole attraction about your emotions and things like that. They could bring something like that back and put them in. I mean, they have at Disney California Adventure, they have a little spinning ride that's themed to Inside Out. I think they could really, with this push, they could do something like that. So we'll see. We'll see what happens.
And you can.
I expect to see more of them in the parks, though.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. Can't you already meet at least some, like Joy? Can you meet Joy in the park somewhere?
Yeah, you can, Joy and Sadness, I know, are there. I'm sure they've all can make. I don't think they're regular, but in appearance. But Joy has been there quite a bit.
But it does look like, I do think the kind of the case is settled. It's not a blip. Like, it's actually a good film, a good movie that is making a ton of money at a time when Disney desperately needed a hit. And it looks like they
Right.
have at least one right before they drop Deadpool and Wolverine, which is going to be massive.
Yeah, and all of these Incredibles 2 did better than Incredibles, and Finding Dory did better than Finding Nemo. But I don't think, as far as critical scores and audience even favorability, even though more people saw it, and of course inflation and all those things go up and change those numbers. But it's always interesting that these sequels do so well, but the audience typically doesn't think they're as good as the original.
Yeah. I also think that the one thing we haven't really discussed is there seems to be, in the family movie market at the theater, like there's been a gap. There hasn't been. Last year you had Super Mario Brothers, and you had some things that this sort of just carved out this space nicely. There's been a few things tried, but nothing's really like just dropped. And this is it. This has been one, and we'll see, like you said, how the Minions movie does, and I'm sure it's going to be huge as well. But I do think you have one for the summer, and this could be. I mean, that's $1 billion movie. That doesn't happen every weekend.
Well, and movies, I listened to another podcast that does a lot more on just movies, and they were talking about how momentum builds, that a hit can, encourage people to go see the next movie. For example, they were saying if John Krasinski's If movie had come out maybe after this movie, that more people would have gone. Not that people didn't go at all, but it didn't get these anywhere close to this. But
Right.
even the Garfield movie, they came out kind of at a time where the confidence level was low. And so now the confidence level's up a little bit. So everybody's already expecting the Minions movie to do well. So I mean, I think that's going to do well. I think that it really comes down to the word went out that this was a good family movie. It was good to take your kids to and not worry about any questionable content. Those things go out, and once they get leaked, it affects a huge part of the audience that they're well, I'll just think we'll wait because I'm not sure and I want to see it first. So we'll wait till when the confidence level is high. Okay, we can go to see this. I mean, people turn up. They're looking for something, especially in the summer, something we can go do, like a mini vacation day, if nothing else. So I hope that they'll do more like this. I hope this will give us for a Moana 2 and Mufasa, that they'll learn from this and say, hey, we got to keep it. Let's keep it right down the middle for the widest audience possible. Let's make it something everybody can enjoy.
Yeah, absolutely. So let me ask you both, what are you most excited about from here on out for the summer to see?
Well, Easton, I'll let you go first because I know what that is.
Well, yeah, I'm gearing up, ready to go see Deadpool and Wolverine.
I'm not sure. I'm looking forward to all of it now. I got a little more a little more confidence myself. I think it will be really interesting if Deadpool Wolverine just blows it out and they have like two big hits, and one's a family movie and one's a
The
True.
an
opposite.
It's the
R-rated.
demographic.
Yeah, an opposite demographic. We'll see what happens, but yeah.
I'm definitely excited about Deadpool, but I think too. I really want to see the Despicable Me movie. I keep waiting for a dud, right? And they're all always so good. And I'm actually, I'm less excited about the Twisters movie, although I will see it for sure. But there's one coming out based on a video game called Borderlands that I'm really excited about
Oh
seeing.
yeah.
And then the new Alien movie, and those aren't till August, but I'm really excited about both of those as well. And also, I don't know, there's a movie called, do you remember, David, a movie in the 90s called The Crow that had Bruce Lee's son, who died during the filming of the movie? Do you remember
Oh,
that?
I definitely remember it being made. I don't remember the movie, but I remember the accident and all that happening.
Yeah, I saw that movie in the theater and loved it. And they're doing a remake of it that comes out this summer as well. So I'm actually kind of really, and it's the producer of Ghost in the Shell. So I'm really excited to check it out too, just to see there. So and then of course Beetlejuice. That's not till really fall. But anyhow, those are some stuff I'm looking for. But again, I'm glad my family had a great experience at the theater. I didn't feel like I wasted my money. I felt like we had a great time, saw a great movie, and what you said, David, about that article you read, it rings true. Like, it makes you excited to go see more movies, right?
Right. There's still a lot of things. I really want to go back and see Inside Out 2 again, because I feel like I just want to dig into it a little bit more and see. Usually in a movie like this, you can see where the plot can go this way or it could go this way, and you can, if you go back and watch, you can see, because they do studies. I mean, they usually have different versions they're ready to put out.
Right.
And so I'd like to go back and see, like, can I see how the story could have turned here, how the story could have turned there? Because there were a few story plots that I was still going, well, why that? What? So I'd like to go back and see it again. But yeah.
Well, we should note too. I mean, people who've listened to the podcast for a while know that you are a writer yourself, and those things that you pick, like the picks. That's one of your joys of life. Is like. Is how well written is this, and is it coherent? And I love, that's why I love your perspective too, because sometimes stuff isn't quite as obvious to me, and I'm a little more forgiving, but you bring it out and I'm like, oh crap, David, you ruined it for me. You're right.
Hey,
You're right.
I saw something the other day that was talking about personality types, and it said, and it was like, these personality types are listening to the music, and these personality types are hearing the words. And I had never really thought about that. Like, there's a whole different, just how we're all differently made to think, oh yeah, one person's, man, I love this groove, and the other person's like, man, those lyrics crush me, and they're not even, not even listening to the same. They're listening to the same song, but they're not listening to the same song.
Yeah.
So,
Have you ever had that
true.
exercise? There's just people on TikTok that take like the songs, super happy, and they make them like. Have you ever listened to the lyrics of this, and they play them like in a minor key? And you're like, whoa,
Yeah.
whoa, never realized that. And it's kind of along those lines. That's really cool. Yesterday, 20 people got rescued from California Adventures and Credit Coaster. That's pretty cool. Which brings me to the question I had for both of you. If you were going to get stuck and had to be rescued from a Disney ride, which one would you like to be stuck and rescued from?
Which one would I want to be stuck and rescued from? Gosh.
If you're going to get stuck on something.
What's the irony that the thing that you get stuck on is the superhero coaster?
Boom,
that you have to be
that's a great
rescued.
one.
That you have to be rescued from a superhero coaster.
Disney missed
That's the irony.
a huge PR thing. They should have had the whoever went up there dressed as Mr. Incredible.
Oh my gosh, that would be
the
so
family.
funny.
I've been evacuated from coasters before, and it just depends on the coaster, and not just at Disney. But one time we were evacuated from Dollywood coaster, and we were pretty high up, and had to get out and walk down the steps, with the railing, and I don't want to do that.
Nerve-wracking.
So if I get stuck on something, I can tell you right now, like, one thing I've not been evacuated from that I would like to be is Pirates. If
That's a
it
great
shut
one.
down and you had to step out, and you could just for a second see everything really close up. That one. I've actually been. One time I broke down in Haunted Mansion, in the ballroom scene for
Okay, who
about
hasn't been?
10, but Bruno, for about 10
Yeah.
or 15 minutes.
Oh yeah.
Like, we just sat there and watched it. Like, I saw things that I had never seen before. So I would take
Yeah.
those where
That's pretty cool.
you can go, man, these are things that. But yeah, I don't know. Incredicoaster, man. If you got stuck near the top, that would not be a fun one to be evacuated from.
I don't think I've ever been evacuated from a ride, but I've definitely been stuck. I've been stuck in Haunted Mansion many times. I actually got stuck at Universal at the top of the log flume ride. At the pinnacle when you're about to just do the
Oh my
dive,
goodness.
it just gets stuck for like 20 minutes. For that, and me and my son are there, and you're sitting up there just kind of looking out, knowing you're about to drop, and it's not a great feeling. Like you're feeling this is
Yeah.
broke, and I hope it all works. And then you see the teenage kid that's over there, and they don't seem too concerned. So you're like, well, they wouldn't seem concerned anyway. They're not concerned about anything during this generation. And so that was a little disconcerting. But
Tiana's Bayou Adventure opened a couple of days ago, and there were still breakdowns and evacuating people and draining the water. This has been something to watch. I can't remember. I can't remember. I mean, it always feels like when things get going that there are a lot of stories about things. Kind of break it down like Rise of Resistance. I don't really remember it with Guardians of the Galaxy, Cosmic Rewind, but things breaking down, things being off, people having to wait. But
12:30
in
p.m.
case you need to know the time, you
there
now
we
know.
go.
There we go.
But I do think this has been way more breakdowns than normal. We've got the ride system, which has been running for many, many, many years. I don't know why they have to keep draining the water and sending people through with the flume not running, but that plus the animatronics breaking down and just different functions not working. I think I've seen a video now of just about every animatronic somewhere breaking down. That's been crazy, and people being evacuated.
Well, and again, I think you mentioned earlier before we got on that there's a chance that you've heard one person talk about how they may have to drain the water at the bottom basin and just use the track.
Yeah,
That
I've
doesn't
definitely
work.
seen
You might
them
tear the
try-
whole thing down.
I've seen they're already troubleshooting things. I've seen a couple videos coming out talking about former Imagineers talking about it. So it's going to be interesting to see over the next few weeks how it unfolds. Hopefully it will resolve. But man, it's looking rough.
Well, I was going to say I saw a meme that was talking about Disney taking all this time to reskin their animatronics to retool Tiana's while Universal and nothing works. Where Universal throws up another park in a couple years, and there's like this is wild,
I know. I
How
wish
fast?
if I had a what's the old phrase? If I had a nickel for all the videos that people are doing about that right now, I would be wealthy, because I think people are starting to realize there's a whole different level of thing going on over there than we're
Yeah.
experiencing right now. Man,
You're
they
right.
took out the Frontierland shooting gallery, which it didn't surprise me. It didn't surprise me that I've seen it doesn't draw a crowd. It is an opening day attraction, and I'm sure there's some people that don't even like the idea that it's a shooting gallery. But man, I would have rather had a store or another restaurant, anything but a Disney Vacation Club lounge. I mean, let's take something out that's for everybody, and let's put something in that's like a sitting area for an exclusive group. I mean, that's probably the thing that bummed me out the most. I haven't done that. We haven't done that very much at all, and I do have old memories of doing it with my dad as a kid.
Yeah.
But
Oh, I've done it.
Yeah, it's just sad that that it would go for that. And what about the stock? How do you think it's doing?
Well, it's down. We're under $100 again today.
Yep. Didn't you just bring up last time that there was an article, and I think it was the
Buy it.
Motley,
Yeah.
what's it called? The Motley.
Motley Fool. Yep.
Yeah, Motley Fool, yeah, saying now is the time to buy, and I've
Yeah.
seen that referenced a few times. There are a lot of people that are speculating how that's happening, what their motivation for doing that is. Do they have who are they buddies with?
Yeah, it could
That would
be.
encourage.
Although
And I'm not giving financial advice. I'm not doing that. I just
I will say
I'm
this:
just
if and this is I'm not giving financial advice either. But if it goes under 90 again, I'm backing up the truck. I just am. Like, I'm buying a ton. It's too cheap. I mean, at that point, like, if you look at a market capitalization of $180 billion and they own, I mean, it's too valuable. At some point, it's turning, right? It might be 10 years from now, but it's not going away. And again, 100 may not be the point, but 90, if I see an 8 in front of that, yeah, I'm gonna make a sizable, maybe even short-term play. I mean, it has nothing to do with the strength of the company, really. It has more to do with just the assets held and the revenue that it can't stay there, right? It's not going to zero.
They're also getting some negative press right now. It feels like every week we meet, there's something new. But there was all this, reporting going on where they've caught several executives on hidden camera saying things that, I mean, again, things that will challenge people's confidence level and what's going on there. So it's going to be interesting to see if Inside Out and Daredevil, Deadpool can keep the confidence up when there's behind the scenes political craziness.
I will
going
say
on.
this to bring up the kind of negative impressions and news. I hate to bring up the Acolyte again, but so the Acolyte generally, what I had heard as it went into the first few episodes was this is the worst writing, the worst acting, the worst, thing possible. And then episode 5 hit last week. And those same people that hated it at first are like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. Maybe the best Star Wars episode ever. That kind of thing. And so like episode 5, I have people that are pretty conservative, old school Star Wars fans that loved episode 5. And I haven't seen it yet. My goal on this trip is to try to watch it.
I've not heard that at all. I have not heard that. I've just seen consistent, like, it's the greatest thing ever or it's the worst thing ever. I've not watched a single reviewer who has switched gears.
I'm here now to the point where I'm just gonna have to see it for myself and decide. I might have to trudge through. But if you remember Obi-Wan Kenobi, the Kenobi series, you remember the first 2-3 episodes of that? Oh, I think I have to go. I think we're boarding.
All right. Well, we will pick it up there and talk about Obi-Wan
But
next time.
Let me finish this thought, and then we'll go. The final 2 episodes, judge it at the end, right? Because the final 2 episodes made up for the first 3 that were like, what the heck is happening, right? You got to remember it's a series to be taken all together, not individual things. So anyhow, I want to leave it at that. Now, guys, I hate to, but I'm going to have to run. But we will do this again real soon. Maybe we'll film one while I'm in Albania, which is where I'm heading right now. But as always, I love doing this with you guys. Glad we got this in real quick, and I can't wait so we can talk again. Leave us a review. Check us out on whylovedisney.com. And Easton, great to see you, man. Happy birthday.
Thanks. See ya.
Until next time, I got to go catch a flight.